This here is the all-new generation of the Mazda CX-5, and you need to watch this review for 3 special reasons. First of all, it's one of the rare vehicles, rare SUVs in the compact segment, which is still affordable actually price-wise. Second reason is there are very interesting changes. Some changes, they are most obvious, really good, but there will also be stuff to discuss, I can promise you. And the third reason is, due to the increase in length, is this one also somewhat a replacement of the Mazda CX-60, or let's say the more clever choice? We're going to find out all about that. I'm Thomas, this is Autogefühl in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go with the new face of the CX-5. And here a stronger front grille, even more upright here in this area, so they want to make it even stronger, not only in the look, it's also a little bit wider, a little bit higher, and soon also coming to the length. Optional matrix LED, you can also see it with this vehicle here. This is the daytime running light and also where the turning indicators will appear. The famous Soul red crystal color at Mazda, a very strong red color. I think it always looks pretty beautiful, and yeah, I'm not that shiny with my shirt, but that's closest it can get actually. Length is the most important aspect now. Now at 4.69 meters or 185 inches. And that is actually 12 centimeters or 5 inches longer than the predecessor. Yeah, and the thing is, wait a minute, the CX-60, the larger SUV, is now only 5.5 centimeters longer than this one. So lengthwise, they're coming really close. Big difference, the CX-60 and 70, 80, 90, they have the longitudinal engine then when they have the 6-cylinder in there. This one does not come with 6-cylinder, and they have the transverse engine mount, so it's a very different platform. But the space on the interior, that could be very interesting in the comparison very soon. 17 or 19-inch wheels, these are the larger 19-inch wheels. It's also the top trim Homura, it's called, with black wheels. Also here painted black wheel arches around. That looks pretty classy, but in the side profile it stays true to its original concept, so you can really see, yeah, that's still a CX-5, more an evolutionary change. And yes, the chassis has become longer, but it's called all new generation, but it's not that they would have started from scratch and threw away the old model. You know what I mean? Like from this evolutionary standpoint. In the rear, more horizontally drawn tail lamps. They also introduce a new Mazda design language where they have more lettering, for example. Instead of logos, the logo will be more two-dimensional. We'll also see that on the interior very soon. But design was in the rear closer to a CX-60, 70, 80 or 90 definitely. And I can tell you the trunk measurement today will be especially interesting. There is a front-wheel drive model or optional all-wheel drive. This is also the all-wheel drive model, also says here AWD. And the acceleration figure is 10.5 or 10.9 seconds. In this case, the all-wheel drive model is actually slower. And let's take a look under the hood. There we go. Because here it always comes with a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine, naturally aspirated, 24-volt MHEV system, so you have some recuperation moments possible. Cylinder on demand, so a lot of technologies inside. This is just the battery charger here for the studio, and there it is. Yeah, still a lot of space, but of course the shorter front hood in comparison to the big platform model. This one here makes 141 horsepower, at least here for the EU version. In that product cycle, also coming up, will be some versions that will be a little bit more powerful because, yeah, looking at that acceleration figure, which are between 10 and 11 seconds, that's not the quickest one, of course. So that's one thing you have to bear in mind. Yes, you will pay less money, way less money than for a CX-60, for example, but it won't be the quickest in acceleration. But what I always loved about the CX-5 is its driving agility. You know, when you're just driving into the corners. And I always loved driving the CX-5, so when we can drive this one here for you very soon, I'm really looking forward to how the driving is maybe the same or has changed, because suspension-wise, there are some upgrades. So on the one hand, the springs are softer for more comfort, but now they add frequency adaptive dampers, and they kind of make like a wider span between comfort and sportiness. They are not actively adaptive, so you cannot adjust them with the driving mode and so on. But still they react on depending on the situation, and they even out the effect that although the springs are softer, the ride's not supposed to be more wobbly or something. So giving you more comfort, but still remaining the sportiness. If this is going to work, we will find out for you very soon. But I'm really looking forward to drive it very much, because honestly, CX-60, 70, 80, 90, they are cool, like with physical dials and so on, the long hoods, 6 cylinders and so on. But the driving was never on a fun level as the CX-5 driving was. So that's why I'm probably once again the team CX-5, but we'll see more about that on the interior and then later in the drive next time. Briefly commenting on the indicators, by the way, or here's the hazard light. Here you have this pulsing effect. So BMW and Mazda, they both have been using this effect now quite recently. In the rear, however, I think, well, it looks quite cool, but it's really tiny. For my taste, too small for like a turning indicator. Or what do you think? Heading towards the interior with this key fob, yeah, that's nothing special, but it's the same also in the bigger SUVs. Then door closing sounds, pretty solid. In the rear, also solid. And you know that Toyota and Mazda, especially, they have sometimes the thing that when you let the door handle snatch, sometimes by mistake or something, it sounds a little bit like echo hole, like there's a big hole or something. But here, seems they worked on that. Maybe Mazda has watched the autography reviews as for that. Interesting. So that's a lovely improvement indeed that I especially cherish. Maybe some say, this car enthusiast, nerd, whatever, you know, but these are the things I do care about. Then interior of the door, this looks soft and it looks structured. And it kind of is, but it doesn't feel soft. So it looks soft, but it's not. And this is an interesting way to save money, but at the same time, it looks nice. And as long as you don't touch it, it's actually fine. Interesting concept. And then here it's soft enough then for your elbow. That's the really important thing then. Here the window levers are a little bit smaller, but I mean, they work. And there are 4, gotta say that these days. And then hard plastic at the inside of the doors. But I mean, it's not the worst material finish here on the inside, so that's actually looking better than just the very plain stuff, so that's fine. Completely new steering wheel, also without the logo, but with the lettering. And now, yeah, hashtag capacitive FPS buttons. Oh no, come on guys, really? I mean, the steering wheel looks good. You also have some kind of feedback, but it's one button design. Right side for the cruise control, for example. Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I really love the CX-5 also in the predecessor, and there will be even more cool things coming up. But you see, there are also some pros and cons with this vehicle. Seats, the base trim levels, like low and mid trim, are fabric seats. They are the most breathable ones then. And then the exclusive line, there you can get black or mixed black-white color-ish, high-grade leatherette. Looking forward to see that. In the Homura trim, highest trim, however, sadly, only animal skin available. But we can test soon more different trim versions for you, hopefully, when you can also drive the car and keep you updated on that. Here in the front, this is the version with the panoramic roof. Soon more to that. 1.89 m, 6'2". Yeah, there's still some headroom left. That's fine. And the steering wheel can also be moved up and down, in and out. So the form, you know, and how it like promises in the driving is good again. The CX-5 has always been like a driver's car, a driver's SUV actually, and this cockpit still is conveying that, like from the whole driving position at least. Welcome to this new cockpit with a lot of pros and cons indeed. So first of all, it is cleaned up, so a very clean look, yes. Here, by the way, this is not soft touch. I'm looking forward if it will be different in the final trim, but it looks cool indeed. This is then here soft touch on the top dashboard, for example. Automatic gearbox will be standard even in Europe for all models now. In the front we have adaptive cup holders, so not in the back part but in the front, but I think that should be enough, I hope. Then here's also soft for your elbow, split opening, underneath 2 USB-C chargers and some space. And then of course the most obvious thing here with the central screen. This is only in the high trim Homura here, at least on the German market. Maybe it will be different from market to market. 15.6 inch, so almost 16 inch. In the other trim levels, you would have 12.6, so almost 13 inch, so a little bit smaller screen, which is also fine and enough, definitely. You would have Google Maps integration, natively Google built in. This is the biggest change, so it will be quicker. This is a pre-version now, so I can't do anything here. The change in temperature, I can show you that, but just to tell you, it will also have the Gemini assistant. So you can talk to the car with the, like good voice recognition and so on that we can expect, and also a quicker infotainment system. However, no climate dials, no physical dials here. Come on, guys, really? Yeah, I mean, they are placed always here, and you can slide like this or click here. This is possible, or if you do 22 degrees Celsius or 72 degrees Fahrenheit auto, then you probably don't care, but usually a lot of viewers here, and me personally, also care a lot about that. And that's the thing here. It is clean, and the car, when we also see the space soon, is pretty cool from the price-performance ratio. But the one thing we have loved most about the Mazda models in all the recent years is that they kept physical dials, whereas all the other manufacturers did not. And now they're doing the same. That's the one thing I really do not like. Would like to see your feedback on that. The integration here is somewhat fine. It's also accessible, like here, like it's not too far actually. Just the hazard lights button is in the lower part. Not too many other real physical buttons left. And yeah, and then the combination with the capacitive buttons. I mean, you have some kind of feedback, but still somewhat capacitive here on the steering wheel. Yeah, so these are two pills to swallow here with this vehicle. Glove box, by the way, here falls down smoothly, so that's also nicely dampened. That's fine. Yeah, and then let's take a look here at the digital instruments, and there's also a head-up display. And this is the driver POV, and there you can see new digital instruments here. They are clear to read. Speed in the lower left here, for example. You can also change the views a little bit like this. You can see I also put the speed in the middle, for example. So that's cool, and they're also like really deep in there. You can also see them even if there's glare from the outside. And then this is here a quick look at the head-up display. Now to the rear seats. First of all, super interesting. Look at that, the rear door. It almost opens 90 degrees. That's really good for putting child seats in and out, for example. And of course for the normal entry into the vehicle in the rear. Here it looks structured, but it's rather hard. But I mean, at least it looks structured. So the look is actually nice, but it pretends to be something that it isn't. But I think at least it looks better than just plain like plastic like it is here in the lower part, for example. And then here, ISOFIX at the outside each. And you can also get a cargo position here to make the seat more upright. Or if you prefer driving like this, then you have like a little bit more trunk length, but only in the height there. And here, folding down this with some lips for somewhat adaptive cup holders. And then you have two USB-C chargers in the lower part, and also seat heating if the car would be properly powered for the outside seats here in the rear. And this the seat is I am driving, it's a tall person, and you see here I still have legroom left. And now very interesting, of this 12 centimeters 5-inch gain in length, this is all the wheelbase. However, from that wheelbase, half of that, 6 centimeters or like 2.5 inches, went into more legroom, and the rest then maybe a little bit trunk and maybe a little bit somewhere there. So it's not all of the wheelbase gain that goes into the legroom, which sometimes happens, but at least more than enough. And I have more legroom here than in a CX-60, honestly. So that is a good space in here for the family, and also with the headroom with 189/602. This one here being the optional panoramic roof. You can see it has also a full shade, and you can also really open that. Yeah, very spacious, rather upright seating position. So good comfort for the family and enough space, definitely. Here we go. Yeah, the mechanism is kind of loud, but there you can see that it really opens, not too wide. So that's like just like this is the opening of the. I mean, yeah, if it's really that useful, maybe not, but at least some fresh air if you like it. And then, yeah, these electric motors for that are really loud actually. There's the full shade then, so at least that is available. But it's an option, so you can also go for a fixed roof if you want to keep the interior as cooled as possible. Towing, by the way, is at 2 tons here for this CX-5 version, and we might expect in the US, for example, more powerful versions for that engine once again, since it was the same case also in the previous generation. We'll keep you updated on that as soon as we know. Then here to the trunk or the boot, 580 liters, that's 60 liters more than the predecessor, and if you go for the total volume, it's even more than the predecessor. And this one even has 10 liters more of the boot capacity than the CX-60. That's interesting. There's a cover on the top. Then here, this one also fits in vertically, 1 meter or 40 inches easily in width. And the normal length is here now at, it's also almost 1 meter or 40 inches, like a little bit less, but really good. Then underneath here, some more space. In this case, then they put the Bose subwoofer in there. You can also remove this party completely. And the cool thing is, first of all, good height. This is better now, 31 inches or a little bit less than 80 centimeters. And you can also fold then the seats from here, remote unlock. There we go. And
oh, they have power.
Yeah, there. Maybe I can push this one down a little bit further, then it looks nice. Yeah, you know, we've been talking about this. This is most of the time not that super done with by Mazda, but I have to say, it's maybe not the most beautiful solution, but this is the first hand-built studio vehicle, and I think it even looks better than in the CX-60, this transition there. So it's actually not bad. So that's good. And then the length to the seat is I would be driving, and remember, it's still a compact SUV segment. Here we are at 1 meters 80 or 71 inches, so very well usable. This is here a true hero as for the usability of the trunk. And yeah, you already realize I'm on a tour here of like, don't buy the CX-60, buy the CX-5. I think Mazda guys will not like that, but I think here it kind of becomes obvious, you know. As for the pricing, the entry price, we always have a German entry price as a relevant figure, 35,000 euros, but not as it stands here right now. If you get the all-wheel drive, panoramic roof, the highest trim limit, and so on, you of course add some thousand euros, then it will be in the region of 40,000 something. But still, in comparison to other SUVs on the market in that segment here, and considering that it has gained in length, it's still a relatively affordable price. And that is also the reason why the CX-5 has been so successful and why people love it so much, because it offers a lot, considering you don't pay so much for it yet. And then, of course, you can think about, yeah, maybe it's a little bit higher in the prices, but you get the automatic gearbox as standard now, always, for example, like that. Yeah, the engine is, in comparison to other engines that are offered on the market, maybe you can even say sluggish in the acceleration. However, naturally aspirated engine also gives you a special linear driving feeling, which I also like very much. We've seen recently in the CX-30 or in the Mazda 3 episodes, for example, which are using the same engine, by the way, but not on the very same platform. And yeah, as I said earlier, I'm really looking forward to drive this one again, because I'm really expecting that this one, I mean, it's not like a successor or something of a CX-60, because they will run parallel and they want to get more money from CX-60 customers, and if they want to have the 6-cylinder and better acceleration and so on. But if you think about it, this one here has more rear legroom than the CX-60, or even than the other bigger models, more trunk, and it will probably, I'm already quite certain of that, drive better. Then I really have to say, from the initial questions, yes, to me, the CX-5 does make more sense, but when we drive it, we can find out more about that for you. And now check out our other most recent Mazda reviews.